Yeah, he can certainly come back. It was just ultimately, as we talked more about it, the best thing for him to get healthy and be effective is to miss those first 4 games. So there's no pressure to come back because that's about the timeline where it's going to end up being. So that's just the direction we headed.
How do you feel about the interior depth now being out for
Good. I feel good. We've got guys there. I think Chris Jenkins, I'm just mentioning new guys. Chris Jenkins, obviously Sheldon, who we signed in free agency, to add to BJ and Zach and Tufeli. So I think that we've got a good group there that can really contribute the right way for us.
How do you feel like that? How does it
Positive.
what you want to practice?
We'll see. It'll probably be this very similar to yesterday, but I'm not going to make any predictions.
How do you feel about Yosemite in the slot?
Good. I think he's worked really hard. He wants to be a great player, and he wants to learn all the nuances of that position. It's different than being outside. So he's got the ability to do everything for us. But, again, you've seen this training camp. He's focused more in there in the slot, so that gives us a lot of flexibility. He's taking the right approach to it. He's trying to learn every single day and constantly improving, and so I really liked what I've seen from him.
This week where you're post-training camp, it's not quite game week yet, is it more of like a regular season game week type deal, or is it more of like an extension?
A little bit of both. Just with the roster changing, there's a lot of fluidity there the last 36 hours really with guys coming and going, how you practice. And so, again, you can get a little bit ahead into next week. You're always careful to not get too far ahead. As coaches, we have to stay that way. But as players, you're careful to spend too much time on an opponent. So there's things you can introduce that feel more like a game week than normal. Today's structure is more like a game week, really, for the first time for us. And then obviously next week when they come back on Monday, we'll be fully into it.
What's the approach with the new guys in practice? How do you get that up and running?
You got to have a plan for them just to be able to learn how to compete, first of all. So, the practice squad, am I way too close to this? The new practice squad guys, their first purpose is to serve a role, to serve the first team offense or first team defense and special teams. But you're also trying to put them in a position where they have confidence to where you can see their potential if they do get a rep on offense or defense or special teams to make a strong impression and to be able to show their talent. So you got to create a plan for each guy, and that's kind of what we're in the process of really today and over the course of this weekend, creating a plan for those guys to where they feel like, all right, I'm growing and developing and learning the system, and so that at some point in the near future I can compete. And so, again, that's what I've already talked to some of those guys about, and I'll hit the rest of them by the end of the day.
When you look at the running back room, it's obviously different than you've had to deal with in recent years. Do you prefer, when you start plotting out how to use them, situationally or per drive? Does that change as season goes along? What do you prefer?
Certainly it can change as the season goes along. But at the same time, you can have a plan in place for each guy. Sometimes special teams factors into it if they're used. That could lead into the next play that's going to be on offense, if they're being used on special teams or not. And then just strengths and weaknesses. So sometimes you put a guy in, maybe he's got a slightly different strength than another guy in a certain type of play or certain pass or something like that. And then you got to counter those at the same time to where you're not creating tendencies for yourself. So there's a lot that goes into deciding what backs to put out where. Sometimes we don't feel like it matters. They're so interchangeable that whoever's out there is out there and can do the job. And then sometimes you're putting a name on the call sheet and you're calling out the name to make sure you have that person in there. But just talking about our first two backs, they're very interchangeable. They both high degree of confidence in every facet of the offense. And so I think that's a really good thing for us to be able to have that balance and not be concerned about who's doing what, because they can both do things really well.
Specifically with third down and 2-minute, do you prefer to have one guy just because stuff in protection as the game goes on, it's helpful to have those reps all staged together?
I prefer to have confidence in multiple people to do it. So, I think that's where you just want to have confidence in guys. Now, what you're saying about one guy being into a rhythm of different pressures. Now, those are conversations we're having with the backs the entirety of the game and offensive linemen, tight ends, and quarterbacks. So everyone's a part of that. So I don't think it's as critical that one guy's getting all the pressure looks. It's, again, you want to have confidence that multiple guys can do it, and so they can be in it. I think there's a lot of them. I think he does a really good job in the gun as a runner. He's got a long history of that in Buffalo and Indy. So his vision in tight areas and being able to maneuver to put backers in tough positions and set up his linemen, I think has been really good. Great acceleration forward, great lateral quickness. He can finish off runs. He's a physical guy that way. I really like him in protection as well. He's got great protection knowledge, great awareness in the pass game of where to be and how to fit in the spaces with the checkdowns, and I think it's been really important to him. I'm sure it's always been that way, but that's what I've noted. You make a coaching point, whether it's Justin or Pitch or myself, and he's going to do it the way that you want it done. And I think he's got great chemistry with Joe as well, which is really critical for our running backs to have great chemistry in the pass game. And with the little communication that happens pre-snap to be on the same page. So I've seen all that from Zac and been really pleased with that over the course of camp.
Do you look at the running game, Zac, as a way of taking pressure off Joe or as its own weapon, regardless of what it does?
I think you can frame it a lot of different ways. It's the defense has to be, they have to honor it. You got to make them pay when they're not. It takes the pressure off the lineman and Joe. When you're mixing in plenty of runs and not just dropping back and passing all the time. So there's a lot of advantages to it, obviously. If you can get into a great rhythm and great flow, I think that can make it really challenging for the defense and give your offense a really good rhythm.
What's the importance of having people that walk through and install out there and have that really look at the practice and have it?
He's been at every meeting. So, he knows everything. He's been in the system now for 3 years that he's played it, and the 4th year now, and so again, he knows everything. He's very on top of it.
When you look at what Burrow did in the 5 games where he was really healthy last year, what stands out the most to you about that level he reached?
Well, there wasn't a lot not to like there. It's the ball rarely touched the ground. Rarely was a ball misplaced. It was pretty impressive, the streaks of completions that were put together during that time. And so, again, that was really good football, and our team, it raises the level of the play of the team as well. When you see your quarterback at that level, kind of in that zone, everyone knows, man, if I do my job, we got a real shot here. And so I think everybody feels that when he's playing at that level.
Is there a moment when Joe's toughness, first made a big impression on you?
He's played through a lot of stuff, and so one moment that pinpoints it for me, no, just because it feels like there's so much that he's dealing with and he's working through, and I think that the team really respects the toughness, and that's critical at the quarterback position. They have to believe that the guy's tough, and Joe has proven that time and time again over the course of his lifetime.
What's it been like to watch him kind of balance that display of when to display that toughness and kind of when to be tough and when to kind of back down a little bit and kind of take it easy?
I don't know that I've ever seen him back down and take it easy. So, he's out there and he's playing. If he's out there, he's playing, and that's, sometimes you hold your breath a little bit, but you got a great quarterback, man, and he's going to push it to the limit.
Was there a portion of your training camp where you just got excited seeing Burrow and do all this?
I'm always a little tempered with my personality. That's probably a terrible flaw of mine, but I'm just excited to see the offense continue to evolve and grow, and a lot of that has to do with Joe as he's got confidence in himself and his teammates and starting to hit your stride. So, a moment, no, I just think I've been impressed with how our offense has progressed and the confidence they're playing with and being on the same page with the communication, and I think that now we're operating at a really good level right now. Go ahead, Al.
From the moment you started in 2020, Joe, from the time you first turned on the tape to today's walkthrough, what's the biggest difference / change / improvement from 5 years ago?
Well, there's a lot of changes that have happened. I think certainly the ownership in the system, because he's now 5 years into it. Is that right? 5
seasons.
5 seasons, 4 years. Okay. And so just his expectations for where he and the offense should be obviously continue to grow, as opposed to us just telling him what to do and here's why we're doing it. Now he understands the intent of it all and can ask the right questions on, is this the look we wanted? Is this what we want? No, hold on, stop the drill. We want this guy somewhere else. So I think he's able to take that to the next level, plays with a ton of confidence. He's got great ownership. He's got great ideas. Those are always things that we really think a lot about, whenever he speaks and has a thought on something. It's great to have ownership from the players that deserve ownership of the offense. I think that we're agreeable to a lot of that stuff.
How did this camp compare in difficulty to your
It's like every year I've been on the job feels different. Every training camp feels different, and it's been for a lot of different reasons, whether it's COVID or the rookies we had or new veterans we had or challenges we had with injuries. They all just feel so different. This doesn't feel like any other training camp we've had. I feel like we've gotten all the work that I'd hoped to get in, we got in. And so I feel really good about where the team is at coming out of training camp with the amount of physicalness we got, the amount of conditioning work we got, the reps we got against other teams where guys feel like, all right, I'm ready to go play week 1 now. And so I just feel like the balance has been good. Obviously, we're not fully healthy. There's still issues there, but it's in a good place to where we're no different than we're not farther off than other teams that are dealing with the same stuff. So I just feel like we're in a good spot right now, and now we got to utilize today and this weekend the right way to get ourselves ready to go on Monday.
It's not every day exactly a chance to get a fifth round defensive end from last year and pick him up on waivers.
Yeah. A guy that our scouts have liked, Coach Hobby has liked. Marion's known him, for a bit now, played with Miles in college. So I just think it fit us at the right time with the right person, and we were excited that we were able to get the claim there.
You talk about reps against another team. In hindsight, now that you can look back at the double joint practices, the 2 different ones, is that something you'd be open to again in the future?
I'm not gonna go that far yet. It's just I think every year is going to be different, and the way that played out was not originally the plan. It just shook out that way, and I think it was really good work. And again, I'll put more thought into that next year as we get closer.
On a day like yesterday where you are so close to kickoff and you don't have one of the key players on offense who are out there practicing, does it make it difficult at all, more difficult personnel-wise to prepare for a game that's so
No, it does. I mean, in this league, every week there's a different form of adversity, and you got to find the positives in it. And our team has found the positives in it and able to support a teammate, find positives for other teammates, and continue to move forward. And again, it's just you can't waste a day complaining about a situation. Just got to make the most of it and keep it moving. And that's what our guys have done. And again, we're all on the same page. We're all on board with this thing. And so just excited to get to game week.
A lot of new pieces, obviously, at the skill positions, especially this year, that you can do. They're going to do different things, whatever. Do you feel like you have more that you'll need to learn about how things are going to operate in the early weeks of the season, maybe than in the past, where you have a little bit more continuity from coordinator to personnel?
I think we're in a very flexible spot to where we've got a whole lot of offense in there and a lot of really smart players that can handle that to give us the flexibility to maybe something that we didn't rep more than twice in training camp, get to and feel confident in it. And so normally we wouldn't do that if it's something we don't have confidence in, but there's the awareness from the players that this is on the table. You're responsible for it. We could do it if a game calls for it. Or all of a sudden we found a strength within a game or over a 3-week span, we're going to start pushing the strength this way. We just have a lot of flexibility on our staff and with our players. And so I think that's a real strength to have to where we can evolve over the course of a game. We're not a staff that says, oh, we didn't practice it this week, we're not doing it. During a game, if it's going to give us a chance to win, we're going to do it. And we're going to make that adjustment in game, and our players know that, and they respond the right way to it, and they're not overwhelmed by it, and I think we teach it the right way. And so it gives us a lot of flexibility with the weapons that we have.
How much is that different from last year or the years before? Do you feel like flexibility is
I do feel like the overall depth is maybe more unique than the past. I think if you just look at the different rooms, there's just unique skill sets there that you can capitalize on. And I always think we've had really good strengths. I mean, that's why we've played in championships over the years. We had a lot of really good players. We've lost good players, and we've replaced them with good players. And just now, there's just a different versatility amongst different position rooms that give you a flexibility to react a certain way, either attack a defense a certain way or react to some things that you're seeing over the course of the game. I think everything's on the table.
Down the stretch in training camp, did you feel the kind of the personality of the defense start to kind of?
Yeah.
You felt that again?
That's a great question, to be honest with you, because I really have. The last 2 weeks, I wouldn't say that it wasn't there to begin with because it was good. I think the last 2 weeks they've really taken a giant step, and they've got a ton of confidence in each other. And so I think each guy to a man has always had confidence in himself. Now that has spread over to the entirety of the unit. I'm not saying it was missing. I'm just saying, man, it's really impressive to watch the energy they're flying around with. They expect to dominate. You hear about it when they do well. I like that in practice. That kind of ramps up the energy level a little bit. And so there's just tremendous leadership amongst the veterans. There's great energy amongst the young guys. That unit's in a really good place right now.
You said you didn't feel like it was bad at first, but what was it? Was there something that clicked?
No, I think it's just the defense is in now, and we've repped it, and so now we know all the weak spots of a call and where the offense is going to try to attack us, and those guys on defense are one step ahead. The coordinator can't always do that. The position coach can't. There's always weaknesses to everything. Our guys are so intelligent that way that, okay, we're in this call. This is probably how they're going to try to attack us. Let's be ready for it. And it's impressive to watch those guys be able to communicate.
How much is Von Bell having an impact on that?
A lot of it. It's but again, he spreads that knowledge throughout to where other guys have the confidence to communicate at a higher level and operate at a higher level. But he's certainly not the only one. There's tons of guys, but you feel Von as much as you feel anyone. And so again, he's a big part of what we do.
Obviously, you know him well. Has he evolved at all in that year in Carolina analysis?
No, I don't think so. You'd have to ask him that. It's the same player that I knew when he was here.